Hi all, wee Bob here, and Rebelle 7 has been released. I have been lucky enough to have been selected to carry out some beta testing with Escape Motions for the past number of weeks, and I've enjoyed drawing this piece, making the best of the new metallic paint tools. We'll go into those a wee bit later in this video. In this video I'll show you the new features and let you know how to get started with them. Let's start with the improved paper and art surfaces. Basically, Rebelle now has a more lifelike application of paint or pencil to the canvas surface. If I sketch lightly with a pencil in real life, my pencil lead basically will only apply to those bumps in the paper that I hit. The valleys of the paper will not be affected or less affected depending on how hard I press my pencil to the paper or go over the same point. Rebelle now has the capability to look at these valleys and hills as shown. This feature is enabled by default, so there is nothing for you to do. You can turn it off though through the canvas button menu and deselecting use paper height maps. New authentic brushes have been provided. We have various new charcoal brushes, ink brushes, we've got metallic brushes, oil brushes, pastel dry, pastel oil, pencils and watercolours. We have new options in the brush creator tool. We can open the brush creator using this icon, and we have the ability to save a colour as the paintbrush default colour. The textures tab is new in Rebelle 7, and we can now combine brushes and add textures. We can have a dual brush and it can give us some really lovely effects and bring again another level to our painting capabilities in the digital realm. We can add shapes and grains and so on as illustrated. There has been some updates to the user interface, specifically to do with the colour panel. We now have this icon, which means libraries. This has been added not just for the colour panel, but for grouping favourite brushes, colour sets, mixing palettes, stencils, structures. So wherever you see this little library, you can create your own little library to group things and organise things. The next improvement that I want to highlight is the rulers. Alongside our perspective tools, we now have the ability to create the parallel lines and ellipses as shown. But these additions to rulers are small in comparison to the introduction of paths and structures. Let's start with paths. Well, a path is what it says, it's a path for our brush to follow. These are vector paths created by files known as SVG files, and we can make them ourselves or we can download them from the web. We can edit the paths, move them, scale them, rotate them, etc. To complement paths, we now have a feature called structures, and this one has me really excited. It is a ghost image that you can then paint over. And the best way I can describe this and how it feels is if you ever went out into the world and got some coins or something like a leaf, and then you used a bit of paper with the leaf underneath it or the coin underneath it, and you sketch lightly, the structure of that item would come out on the paper like magic. And it was something I did as a kid, like you can see in these examples. This is what it kind of brings to us, and I'm going to show you it with some watercolours and other illustrated ways to use this, and I think there'll be more. I've still to discover them though. I think this tool will be amazingly useful for adding texture to our paintings, and it has me excited for its future use and just to bring my texture level up a level. There are so many additions to Rebelle 7, it's all a bit crazy. If this video's been of use to you so far, consider subscribing, but if you could hit the like, that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so a smaller feature is the introduction of patterns and gradients, which I think will be very useful for starting our paintings, especially landscapes and changing like sky colours. We can click patterns as well and add these to our canvas, as you can see. The last two big features that I want to talk about, we're going to do metallics first, and then I'm going to talk about filter layers and how they can make a great difference to our paintings. So metallic paints are here, and this is the art piece I have been working on while testing the beta version of the software. To get metallic paint, we need a separate layer from all other layers. For myself, I like to work on one layer, so I wasn't immediately loving the fact I had to have a separate layer for my metallic paint, but I would rather have it than not have it. It is an amazing feature and the paints are beautiful. The new little diamond icon here is what changes our layer into being a metallic paint layer. In the new colour panel, we have access to a predefined set of colours, metallic colours provided to us. But you don't need to use these, you can use it with all the colours on your set, palette, whatever. The main thing to note is that metallic paint is primarily applied through oil brushes, and when we use other types of brushes, the effects will either not show up or be less noticeable. Now, when we combine all these new lovely metallic paints with the water effects and the blowing tool and everything like that, we are just going to get some amazing results. So metallic paints are beautiful, however when drawing this painting I realised at the end that my colours were a bit faded and I wanted to then add this new filter layer, which is an amazing addition because previously you had to basically duplicate your layer before you could filter it, and it would only filter the layer that you duplicated, but this filter above all other layers will filter everything below it, and you can turn it on and off and you can adjust it as shown. I was able to make my metallics pop that bit more using this feature. When we combine all these new features along with software that is already amazing, Rebelle 7 is going to catch people's eyes, especially if you're a person looking for the happy accidents. Rebelle is the only software I have found that provides this type of paint acting like another character in the story of art making. In a painting, you end up with something that was both intentional and unintentional. And it gives, I don't know, there's something freeing about it. If you do want to purchase Rebelle 7, there is an affiliate link in the description below. I would get a small commission and it helps put things towards my channel. Thank you. Anyway, I hope you enjoy using Rebelle 7. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and there will be more tutorials, there will be more videos. Thank you very much for watching, and Wee Bob is out.